Alright, I'm just gonna do a bit of a voiceover because the audio that I had um, during during the whole Elite Four, I was, talking to my Soul Link partner, and I didn't want to have this video be the main reason. I wanted to be talking with them, talking about lines, doing those sorts of things, so I'm just doing the voiceover now. And going over my lines, I'll probably put in a bit of this sped up version of me prepping my team. I am going to be going in with a Blaziken, Xerneas, Tyrantrum, Camerupt, Kangaskhan, and Bronzong. If you care, the partners is Blaziken's paired with a Sceptile from getting it via Professor Sycamore. I think that's the right professor. Xerneas obviously paired with the Xerneas because it's the only encounter in that area. Same thing with Vesuvius. We did a rule in ours of just for the sake of making the Soul Link a little bit more fun for us. We made the trade encounters regular encounters, so we both just got Vesuvius. Similarly, we both had Eevee or Stevie and Buggington. See, the Bronzong is paired with a Metagross on my partner's side from, let me see here. Let me bring it up. Bronzong was from Reflection Cave. Bronzong and Medang from, I think we delayed until we got to be able to get to the Reflection Cave B2F or something like that, because we wanted the steel types and it worked out pretty well in our favor. Tyrantrum and Aerodactyl are paired together. That's the fossil encounter in Ambret Town. And the Kangaskhan is paired with a Slowbro, which we did in Pokemon Village. We delayed Pokemon Village until after Gym 8 so that we had Waterfall to get up to the proper grass where we had Kangaskhan and Slowpoke, because we thought those two would be pretty good in the Elite Four. And lo and behold, I think they were. They were also pretty good in the previous fights in the Victory Road. Overall, however, Slowpoke or Slowbro on that side is used more as a eject button regenerator pivot mon, and Mega Kangaskhan I do use to sweep one of the Elite Four members, and pretty good support in terms of the Diantha fight. One thing else to note is I am staying at level 95 on Vesuvius. Everyone else is going up to level 100. I'm staying at level 95 specifically to get in proper ranges from a Politoed Scald on Seabolds. I need to be at really, really low HP. I'm setting up a sun before taking the Scalds, and I need to be at a low HP, and I'm carrying that damage throughout the rest of the Elite Four up unto Diantha for some fun Custap shenanigans. So everyone else is level 100 other than Vesuvius. And I will go through my line with Seabold first. We are doing Seabold first because it was better for my Soul Link partner. They needed moves that were level up moves on Seabold the most, and then afterwards needed to replace them with TMs, so we're doing Seabolds at the start. Seabolds is one of the harder lines for me, just because two of the Elite Four members is pretty easy for me. The things to keep in mind is that I'm wanting to get enough power punches off to get up to +3 on Mega Kangaskhan and do a sweep from there, but setting up proper min rolls to kill the Politoads and max rolls to get enough power-up punches is the name of the game. So I needed Politoad to be in between 130 and 178 HP in order for me to be able to get at minimum 3 power-up punches and make sure that I can kill the Politoad in time. I'm starting with Groken, and I actually start with Groken or Blaziken on every single fight, which I find pretty funny. I'm just doing a Protect to get a speed boost to be able to outspeed the Politoad. I am Brave Nature with 6 speed IV, so I don't outspeed Politoad without that. Now that I am faster than the Politoad, I can set up a Sunny Day with Groken. In the Harsh Sun, I do survive max roll crit on the Scald, because I am basically max bulk. I have 30 IVs in HP and 31 in the special defense and defense. Eject button out into my other fire type of Vesuvius. I am going into Vesuvius, 1 to take the pre-damage, and 2 it also acts as the way that I am going to get Politoad in that range of 130 to 178 HP. I'll take the Scald. I'll use one of the few Focus Ashes that we get in the game here. I think this is might be the only time I actually use a Focus Ash in the run, which is neat. And I Will-O-Wisp it. So this is how I'm going to chip it down into that range. From here, I'm just going to do a tiny bit of stalling. I'm gonna Protect to get 1 more chip. Of course, it's just going to keep using Scald. I'm also counting the Sun turns. It won't matter that Sun will end at some point, because I didn't have a Heat Rock or anything special. I'm gonna switch to Pterodactyl or Tyrantrum on another Scald. It's okay if I get burned here. 1, I think I have a Lumberry, and 2, I'm not using it really for this fight. I think I do get burned, but once again, that doesn't really matter. Now that Pterodactyl is in, it sees Moonblast as the move to use because it kills me. So I will be able to use that as a... Do I need to Protect 1 more time? I don't think so. No, I'm... Now we're just gonna swap into Bronzong. Take the Moonblast, guaranteed to hit, and use a second Eject button to get into Kangabro, or Kangaskhan. Now that this is the situation, we have, with the burn chips, it's Politoad down to like 150-ish HP, which is in that range of being able to kill with the power punches. So I will Mega and power up Punch. My voiceovers will be waiting on me to move just a tiny bit, because during the Elite Four I am double checking all my notes to make sure I am doing everything in order, because it would be very unfortunate if I just misclick at this point. I do get a crit, those are why I needed to have it be above 130 HP, because I do need 3 +1 or +3 attack to be able to Drain Punch KO the Blastoise. And also I need it for +2 attack after Intimidate on the Feraligatr to be able to KO. But with those 3 attack boosts, everything else should be pretty smooth sailing. We're just going to be Drain Punching. and the rest of it is I'm gonna speed up a tiny bit here and go for a Drain Punch on the Ludicolo, which will guarantee kill because of parental bonds. And after the Drain Punches on the Blastoise and the Ludicolo, I am back up to full, which also puts me out of range of Aqua Jets from the Swampert, because there was a chance me taking a Maxwell crit from the Politoed put me into Aqua Jet range when the when the rain gets put back up by the Kyogre. But the rest of it is just return, 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 and KO the rest of this fight. After Seabolt, the next two lines are pretty darn quick, and you'll see some sped up prep for getting the next two. We're going to do Malva and then Wickstrom. And both of them I'm just going to be sweeping with Grogan. As me and my Soul Link partner said throughout the Soul Link, Grogan is broken. Blaziken can sweep through both of those fights as a Mega with little to no setup. My Blaziken specifically, I don't know if it's true for all Blazikens. I am Brave Nature, but only one IV and attack. But I do just get to start with Blaziken and sweep with the Sword Stance, so I guess if you're playing with no setup, then obviously it wouldn't be able to do everything. But with it, a Sword Stance and some Speed Boost just get you clean through it all. I'm healing everything except for Vesuvius, and to keep that damage, because I do need that later on as a reminder. But these two fights should be pretty darn simple. We start with a Rotom, and one of the best things about Blaziken is that it can't be burned because it's a fire type, which really helps against these Will-O-Wisp leads of Rotom and Cofagrigus. But I can just Mega Evolve and go for a Sword Stance. I am bulky enough that I do not die to a Maxwell crit on the Volt Switch, or if it went for Overheat for whatever reason, not die to that either. And once I get that set up, then it's easy going. I simply click some double kicks and place kicks and get through. Magmortar goes down to a +2 double kick. Groudon sets up the Sun, which I actually take advantage of. I would need to use close combat against them, but because of the Sun, my Blaze Kick actually gets to Oko, guaranteed, which I find pretty interesting, pretty neat. Charizard is the only Pokemon on their team that I need to use close combat for. I don't want to use too many close combats because of the chances of the Maxwell crit Volt Switch on Rotom, bringing me into a Sucker Punch range on the Heat. I just call it Heat form because it's Heat More. I had a Heat More on my team, but I always called it Heat form because it was paired with a Gust form. But yeah, all of their team go down because Double Kick gets through any Focus Sashes, which they didn't have, but it's nice backup for that point. And the only Prio move that they had, I believe, was on Heatmore, and I am outside of the range because Sucker Punch is not very effective on me. And even if I did need to switch out, getting through 5 Mons with one Pokemon is pretty good, but all Malva was a single line for Blaziken. Pretty simple. All I have to do in preparation for Wickstrom, the Steel Elite Four member, is heal up Blaziken to full, and remember to use some max elixirs to get back some power points. Some fun facts about our runs. We kept track of some frags manually at the time because the HCLA calc didn't have the frag sheet when we first started, and we didn't want to bother trying to learn that or use it once it did come out. But by the end of the whole Soul Link, my Blaziken had 150 kills, which is pretty nice. Second for me was my Beedrill at 108. And then after that it goes much lower to a Garchomp at 46 kills. My Soul Link partner side was much more evenly spread, as they didn't have too many like easy one-mon sweepers, as Mega Beedrill and Mega Blaziken could sweep through a lot of fights at once, or just by themselves, so they need to do a lot more divvying up the frags. Okay, Wickstrom isn't too bad for me. Just start off with the Blaziken. Sandstream isn't going to be an issue. All Cofagrigus can do against me is Hex as the most damage, and I can just Swords Dance in its face. I'm okay with tanking the whole Hex, and if I even wanted to, I could have gotten rid of Double Kick for Drain Punch, I think, unless there was some reason I needed Double Kick. I think at one point I might have had Brick Break over Double Kick or Drain Punch. But I just set up a Swords Dance. It's fine even if the Hex max roll crit me, as that would have done 44%, and then the rest of the sand chips going through the fights, because at this point it's just a kill after kill after kill, would have brought me down to 8% or 6%, something like that. So I would have been fine either way. Cofagrigus just goes down to a single Blaze Kick, guaranteed. Napoleon can go down to a single Double Kick. Take some more Sand Chip. That's okay. It lines up pretty well into the Excadrill, because after a Swords Dance and then kill on Cofagrigus, kill on Napoleon, that's 3 speed boosts. And even with my minus speed nature, I do outspeed a Sandrush Excadrill by a good margin. After 3 speed boosts and Double Kick gets to kill, even with the Troupple Berry, that's fine, especially because the second hit doesn't have that Troupple Berry reduction. I think these fights would have been a lot more difficult if there was a little more distribution and priority moves just for this, but I think with how my Soul Link part needed to get through them, I think they were a pretty good difficulty in terms of Elite Four. It's just broken is broken, so it's a little easy on my end to get through. Nothing too special to see, but yeah, get through Wickstrom with very little fighting back. All I have to do for Drasna now is heal back up the Blaziken, because I lead Blaziken every single fight. For Drasna, I need to do a couple of things to set up for the Diantha fight, which I find pretty interesting and fun that I was able to get a line for me to be able to do this. This one probably was the hardest one to cook just because I needed to do those extra requirements. I think without it, it would have been much simpler, but it allows me to do the champion much smoother. The main thing is I want Groken to be poisoned, so I'm letting Dragalge set up toxic spikes, but specifically one toxic spikes before Blaziken gets poisoned because I want it to be regular poison and not badly poisoned. The other issue that I had cooking Drasna is the fact that the AI quirk of if Draco Meteor isn't a lethal move, it has a major damage reduction, or a major decrease, whatever you would want to call it. And with my Bronzong, it does 38% with Draco Meteor and 32% with Hydro Pump, and obviously 0% with Sludge Bomb. And because of that major decrease, Hydro Pump should be used over Draco Meteor, which then I needed to deal with if Hydro Pump missed. It also didn't help that I cooked the line a good bit of ways before seeing that or remembering that Draco Meteor had that quirk. So then I needed to get rid of a line that was involving it, just me switching back and forth between Xerneas and Bronzong, PP stalling out the Draco Meteor, which I will be doing, but not as simply as just switching back and forth between a Steel type and a Fairy type. It does need a bit of setup, but I saw that if Tyrantrum gets a +1 in attack and speed due to just being able to get a Dragon Dance up, then it can sweep with a little bit of caveats. We need to deal with a Kingdra, which has multi-scale, and even at +1, I do not get to KO with a Dragon Claw. And we also need to deal with Superior with a Focus Sash. And both of those things can be dealt with some Stealth Rocks, and that is also where Bronzong can come in. I am leading with Groken primarily for some of it being memes, but mainly it does bait Draco Meteor. I take 103% at most, so it's in the lethal tier. I get to protect. It is notable that I do not Mega Evolve, or else then I won't be in Draco Meteor KO range, but I have the Mega Stone for steering purposes. So there's one Draco Meteor down. Next up, we have Xerneas coming in to be able to take nothing from the second Draco Meteor. This is where the pre-damage for Xerneas comes in, because my Xerneas is very special bulky, literally max. And so I needed a little bit of pre-damage just to be into KO ranges on the Sludge Bomb. With that, it wants to Sludge Bomb me, so I can switch into my Steel type of Bronzong. Now that Bronzong is in, it doesn't see any kills or even any semi-lethal moves. It's definitely wanting to set up one layer of Toxic Spikes, so I use this time to set up my own entry hazards of Stealth Rocks to be able to deal with that Kingdra Multiscale and the Superior Focused Sash. It wants to use a second layer of Toxic Spikes because I'm at full health, and Toxic Spikes is in the semi-status, and it doesn't even see semi-lethal with any moves. So I will switch into Groken to be able to get that poison off on me for the future, so I don't bait the Thunder Waves into this slot on the Clef Key for Diantha. And it sets up the second layer of Toxic Spikes. That way I didn't need to worry about tanking a Sludge Bomb or Draco or Hydro Pump on the Blaziken, which is really nice. I will protect a second time so that I waste another power point of Draco Meteor. And from here, instead of switching to Xerneas like I did before, I'm actually going to do some eject button shenanigans. I'm not switching to Xerneas because if I did switch to Xerneas, then it would be Sludge Bombing, and I didn't have a safe Pokemon to switch into a Sludge Bomb to bait another Draco Meteor, so I'm just using this time, tanking the Draco Meteor, and eject buttoning out into Tyractyl. And it is pretty nice that even at -2 special attack, Draco Meteor still can KO Tyrantrum. I have a Lumberry for the poison, so that I don't die from there. I also could have used Air Balloon, I believe, but I like the Lumberry here. I just protect on the 5th and final Draco Meteor. One was Blaziken, second Xerneas, another Blaziken, 4th on that Bronzong switch, and 5th here. Now it's out of Draco Meteors, so all it really wants to do is Hydro Pump me. Hydro Pump does 23%, Sludge Bomb does 19% to me. And I can use this time to go up to +1/+1 on the Dragon Dance. I would survive a max roll crit Hydro Pump. That would do maximum of 70% damage, and the rest of the team doesn't have any priority moves, so I wouldn't have needed to worry about this, and I can just clean sweep through here. Dragon Claw does 120% minimum to the Dragology at +1 attack. I'm a Bashful Nature, 17 IVs in attack, so pretty decent. Neutral Nature. The Kingdra goes down because of the Stealth Rocks. Without the Stealth Rocks, I would only do 67% because of the multi-scale, but because it breaks the multi-scale, I'm doing fine. Reshiram comes in. I outspeed it because of the +1 in speed from Dragon Dance, and I can just KO 120% minimum to the Reshiram. Altaria, I do barely get to KO, but Strong Jaw boosted Ice Fang does 101% minimum to the Altaria. So if I had a little bit less IVs or a bad nature, then I would have been looking a little rough here. Honestly, even with that, because of the Stealth Rocks, I should have been okay. But the decent-ish nature allowed me to get through this fight pretty cleanly. Salamence goes down, I outspeed because of the Dragon Dance. And the Superior, once again, the Focus Ash is broken because of the Stealth Rocks, and Dragon Claw or Ice Fang both get to KO. So I was able to get through Drasna with the pre-damage that I wanted on Vesuvius. I have a pre-poison on Groken now. And those two things I'm needing for the champion. The champion being a double battle was pretty fun. I'm not the best at double battles, and definitely at the very start, like pre-Victory Road, when I quickly glanced through the Elite Four, I saw that Blaziken could sweep 2 fights, and at first, when I thought Klefki was, or the Diantha fight was a singles fight, I thought that Blaziken could just sweep through it with a Cherry Berry and Brick Breaks to get through the Klefki, and then double kicks and everything else like that to be able to get through the rest of the team. So it being a double battle made it a little bit more difficult, but the line that I have for Diantha is pretty good, I think. It uses some fun mechanics. And before going into this, I have a line for AZ of using Blaziken to sweep through Torkoal and Registeel, and then on the Zygarde, I get Xerneas in and Power Herb Geomancy sweeps through the rest of the fight. my soloing partner did not have a clean line, and my soling's line for Diantha needed a lot more items. Like, they are using 3 eject buttons to switch, take a move, eject button out into a different one, take another move, eject button into Aerodactyl, and then set up taunt. And on the Klefki, do Power Herb, Geomancy on the champion fights, so they're using 4 of their item slots, and because it's a back-to-back, they couldn't change that. So we didn't have too big of a hope, or we weren't expecting to defeat AZ when we were going into it, but we thought we would try. And our goal was just the champion, so AZ would have just been icing on top. Going through this Diantha fight, I actually should only need 3 Pokemon of Mega Blaziken, Kangaskhan, and Camerupt. The rest are going to be extra backup. I do have the Power Herb on Xerneas just in case. I'm doing, I think, an eject button on Brotang for pivoting purposes. And maybe a Focus Sash, maybe a Lumberry on Tyrantrum. I did decide to level up Vesuvius to level 100 now. And some people could say, oh, I'm using rare candies throughout, so you probably shouldn't be using rare candies in the Elite Four because you're just using rare candies to speed up grinding, right? I've seen that argument. The thing is, the line technically works with level 95. I do enough damage that I need to. I just liked the clean look of 100s across the board. Regardless, I didn't need to level Vesuvius to level 100 mid Elite Four. Okay, going into the double battle, we have Keldeo and Klefki. Klefki just wants to Thunder Wave Kangaskhan because it sees no kills, and on the Blaziken side, it would want to Moonblast, but Thunder Wave is crit status, so it'll want to go for that over a 43% damage on the Blaziken. The Keldeo will not get to do any move whatsoever. Throughout the Elite Four, I didn't use Fake Out on Kangaskhan, but I needed that slot for this particular purpose, because who would have guessed that a Fake Out user in a doubles fight is pretty good. So I get to Fake Out the Keldeo to avoid it being able to KO my Mons, and also let me get enough room to get a Swords Dance off on the Blaziken. I'll have a Cherry Berry or I guess a Lumberry to heal off the Thunder Wave, and also bait a second Thunder Wave into that slot. So we know what Keldeo and Klefki want to do. It's going to be the same as before. But this time I can double kick the Keldeo with a Fake Out doing 52 HP to the Keldeo, and a Mega Blaziken at +2 attack doing 138 damage per double kick. That is just a bit above the Keldeo's 317 HP. During this time I can switch the other side into Vesuvius to get it into position. I don't get paralyzed because I am a ground type, and it has the really big benefit of Blaziken and Vesuvius both baiting the same Pokemon, which is Diancie. This is the only time that I have the same Pokemon coming in, so it doesn't lead to deviating lines, which is always nice. From here, I can Blaze Kick the Klefki to be able to KO it, because at this point, Klefki wants to KO the Vesuvius. So I did the pre-damage on Vesuvius specifically so that I am in Custap range to be able to proc the Custap Berry and move first on this turn, as well as bait the Moonblasts from Klefki. With this, I get to KO the Diancie before it gets to move because of the Custap Berry, and because Moonblast doesn't have priority, just their other moves because of Prankster, I get to outspeed and KO the Klefki with Blaze Kick. So I get a clean sweep here, and this is some funkiness, because Vesuvius baits first Zoroark, then Entei, then Rotom. And Blaziken baits Rotom, then Entei, then Zoroark. So I thought, okay, if Entei comes in first, I know it has to be a Zoroark, and then if a second Entei comes in, that one would have to be the real Entei. Whereas if Rotom comes in, then I know that's Rotom, and the other side is a 50-50 between Entei and a Zoroark. Or at least that's what I thought it would be in this line. I am unsure if the Entei is a real or a fake Entei. The one thing I do know, however, is every Pokemon will be wanting to kill Vesuvius because it's at 16 HP. So the Entei should be extreme speeding, and the Rotom should be air slashing into it. And so I can use this turn to protect on Vesuvius, kill the Rotom with a Blaze Kick. I see that the Entei is real. Cool. Then I hit the Rotom and see that that is Zoroark, which I did not know was a possibility. Apparently, if the Entei comes in because the Diancie slot was faster than the Klefki slot, or because I killed the Diancie slot first, then the Zoroark or the Entei comes in, but it chooses the slot based on their right side versus their left side. So technically it chose Zoroark to come in on the Klefki side first, and then Entei. But because Entei comes out by animation first, it does Rotom, I think. I'm unsure exactly how illusion stuff works with this purpose, so I was very confused. And also, I needed to do a bit of steering, because my original line of if two Enteis came out, then I knew, one of them needed to be Zoroark. So I would protect with Vesuvius, just like before, and Drain Punch to be able to heal up a whole bunch of HP. I would bring Zoroark down to Sash, or I would need a crit to KO the Entei, and even if I did crit KO the Entei, that's fine. I'm way above any kill ranges for Grokin on the Zoroark, and I can KO the Rotom before the Rotom gets to air slash me or anything like that. Vesuvius can switch out into Tyractyl or Kangaskhan on night days and tank that, and then be able to sweep with another Fake Out and more Drain Punches. So I would have been all hunky-dory. So this is the worst position I could be in based on my previous lines, because now Zoroark is at 1 HP, and I don't have that as a good way of being able to heal HP with Blaziken. I can technically use Drain Punch on Entei and heal up, but that leaves Zoroark and Entei to be able to use Extreme Speed and Night Days, and none of my backline Pokemon can really tank crits from both of them. The closest would be Xerneas, but even if I do that, then I need to deal with, I don't know exactly what the Entei would be doing, like if I would be in range on Xerneas on Extreme Speed, or if it would be wanting to just go for Zen Headbutts on Blaziken, I wouldn't know. I didn't think Drain Punching the Entei would have been a good or the best play, because I wouldn't have had a guaranteed line after that, or I would have been doing even more steering. Also, during this time, my soling partner needed some help on their line, or they needed to adjust some stuff because of misprepping. In the end, I do decide to KO the Zoroark, because simplifying it down to just an Entei state, I think I should be able to be okay with. I get to switch Kangaskhan in on the extreme speed guaranteed, get to KO the Zoroark, and now I have a fake out user out. So I can stall the Entei for a turn, while Groken gets to KO the Rotom and bring it down to just a 2v1 versus the Entei. Unfortunately, I do need to use Blaze Kick and not Drain Punch, so I don't get to gain any HP on the Blaziken. And because of the poisons ticking down on me, I am going to be in range of extreme speeds killing Blaziken. And because of that, it sees a lethal tier with on a priority move, so it will want to do that over anything. I will be utilizing the eject button that I have for steering purposes on Bronzong. I can switch out into Bronzong, tank the extreme speed just fine, use the eject button. I am actually going to eject button into Vesuvius once more, because I do have another power point of Protect. During this time, Kangaskhan hits it with a pretty good return. I can Protect with Vesuvius and return once more. There's a chance that I get to KO the Entei with these, but I don't quite hit the range. That's okay. It still just wants to extreme speed Vesuvius because it's at such low HP. So I can switch out. I was thinking about Sucker Punching at one point, but because it's extreme speeding, that'll go first before Sucker Punch. So it's just switch and kill with a third return. So a little steering at the end because I still don't know why Zoroark was a Rotom and not an Entei, with weird it choosing one slot by the AI first and then the other slots actually being switched in first, which made Zoroark not be an Entei. Weirdness, I don't know. Regardless, I was able to get through. I needed to use more of my Pokemon than just 3 because of that steering, but I was able to get through and beat Diantha. Some other stats that you can know. We only had 1, 2, 3, 4 real deaths. We had 1 failed capture in Route 20, which a Wigglytuff set a Parasong on the first turn, and we didn't catch it. So it was a failed capture. Our starter died. I think I killed it at one point. I had Greninja, my partner had Chestnut, and I forget exactly how Greninja died. At one point, it should have died because I accidentally clicked Aerial Ace over Ice Beam or something. Aerial Ace over a different move because the colors lined up very well, and then I got an absolute mineral and survived at 1 HP, which was very, very nice. But yes, Greninja died because I forgot Stealth Rocks was going to be set up on one of the Team Flare fights, and didn't take that into consideration on the chips. So then I died from there. Our Route 2 encounter of Zigzagoon and Darumaka was pretty darn good, but it died to us not seeing that Durant in a Team Flare fight got an increase to Iron Head because of the flinch chance, and then it flinched us, which then caused us to steer and We almost got through it, but like there were chances of like minerals or misses because of fossils and other things like that. That was our second death. Then we had Stantler and Arkin from Azure Bay also died during that stealth rock mishap. I needed to sacrifice Arkin to be able to get the rest of the fight cleanly. And Greninja was when I realized there was an error because Greninja died. So a little unfortunate. And then we had Electrode and Houndoom from the power plant die just in Victory Road because we forgot about Sucker Punch. Overall, I would say the MVP for our runs was Route 3 encounter of Corphish paired with Slakoth, because Slaking and Vigoroth did really good work, and Crawdont, an early game of being adaptability and shell armor, was really, really good. So those two, because their overall use was just so good, they came to the second most fights. Overall though, the MVPs, like in terms of frags and fights, were the Grokin. Grovyle and Kumbasken had a cumulative 224 kills and were brought to 61 different fights. At this point, we can go into the AZ fights. So this one, I wish I had my Soul Link partner's point of view because their fight was so much more interesting than mine. But all I really do is sweep as far as I can with Grogu. I can Mega Evolve, set a Sword Stance, as it just sets some rocks. Turn 2, it doesn't see any kills or anything. It doesn't even see 50%. So it will want to just Toxic me, and I can use this turn to chip it down with Double Kick. I wouldn't ever be able to kill because of Shell Armor not getting me crits. And that's fine. Take this next turn to just be able to kill the Torkoal. And it baits in Registeel, which is really nice because all you really need to get rid of on this team is Registeel and Torkoal for Xerneas to be able to sweep through. And you also need some way for Xerneas to set up, especially if you used a power herb. So we have the Registeel coming in, and +2 Mega Blaziken gets to KO the Registeel with some double kicks. Bonk bonk. In comes the Zygarde now, and I technically could, at +2, crit KO with double kick. That's actually not what I want to do. I technically could, if I went for the crits, get through this fully deathless. But I decided to go for the safer line and sacrifice Grokin. Grokin was broken and a hell of a good encounter, and it gives me the time to be able to switch into the Xerneas, or Zern. I didn't use Xerneas at all in the champion fight, so I still have a power herb. The pointed stones will not matter. And I get to Geomancy as Zygarde wants to Dragonades because it doesn't see kills or anything with 1,000 arrows. And even though it's faster than me and got a speed boost, Geomancy is a pretty balanced move and allows me to get even faster than the Zygarde at +1. And the rest of this fight is basically 4 button clicks away. I click the Moonblast, I kill the Zygarde. How fun. In comes the Kabutops, and I can click Moonblast again. I could click Thunderbolt as well, which probably should have been Protect for steering purposes on Diantha, but that's okay. Rayquaza comes in. I haven't taken enough damage for Extreme Speed to do anything, so it'll want to Dragon Dance me, and I can just Moonblast it. I outspeed, Moonblast, bonks. And the Sigilyph, technically, I do not get to kill with Moonblast, so I guess it was 5 Moonblasts away. But the Sigilyph just goes for a Calm Mind, and even if it went for like air/crit or something, that would only do 48%. So I would have been just okay. I guess technically Extreme Speed into Air Slash if they decided to go for non-setup moves. But that's AZ on my end. For my Soul Links partners AZ fight, they needed to start with Aerodactyl because that's what they started with in the Diantha fight. And the Aerodactyl had Taunt for the Klefki, and the Taunt comes into play here against the Torkoal, which is nice. So taunting the Torkoal stops the Stealth Rocks. And then after a little back and forth of 2 strengths from Aerodactyl takes out the Torkoal, we take a Gyro Ball or Lava Plume, one of the two. So we go down a bit of HP, but we get to take out the Torkoal without the rocks, which is nice. The Kabutops comes in and just KOs the Aerodactyl with an Accelerock because we got down into that range. And we didn't want to save the Aerodactyl, we'd just rather take this tempo because it is literally the last fight. We can easily bring in their Sceptile, which was paired with my Blaziken. And it's a little funny, in the champion fight, they were just using Sceptile pre-damaged a bit to be in certain kill ranges and protect and then switch and do eject button shenanigans. But for the AZ fight, a Focus Sash Sceptile is really good because it can survive an Outrage from Rayquaza and KO it back with Dual Chop. So in the champion fight, they had a pre-damaged Focus Sash Pokemon. Very funny. The Sceptile gets to KO the Kabutops for free because we outspeed and kill it with a Leaf Blade. That brings Zygarde in. The Zygarde wants to Outrage Sceptile. And while we could take out the Zygarde with Sceptile using our Focus Sash, we'd rather save it. And we have a pretty free switch into the Xerneas on the free Outrage. Now, just like with my fights, the Xerneas would want, or the Zygarde wants to Dragon Dance, but their Xerneas needed to use a Power Herb in the champion fight, so they don't have that. So we'll just go for some Moonblasts, take it down as much as possible. And they go Dragon Dance. We crit the Moonblast and just be able to OHKO the Zygarde, which was very awesome. That brings the Registeel in, and we keep Xerneas around for if we need it on the Rayquaza. We'll switch to Camerupt or Vesuvius on an Iron Head. We take a little damage, and unfortunately Camerupt is slower than their Registeel, so we can't just go for Eruption. We'll take a Earthquake, which crits us, but we do barely live, and hit it with an Earth Power to chip it down, but then the next turn, the Registeel Earthquakes and KOs Vesuvius, and lets Brotane come in. Now that Metagross is out being a physical attacker, the Registeel really just wants to curse, and then it's taken some damage, so it'll want to rest. During the turns that it rests up and curses, we power up Punch up to +2, and it rests again because it took enough damage, so we get to just KO it with some ground pounds and get through the Registeel with only taking one attack, maybe? I think we took a bit of damage, but not much. The Sigilyph comes in. We tank a heat wave, which we would have died to a crit, but it didn't crit, and we didn't get burned, which is lucky. And Meteor Mash got to kill the Sigilyph. Rayquaza then comes in, and we are in range of an Outrage, but the Outrage min-rolls, or it gets a really low roll, and Metagross lived at 4 HP, and then the Meteor Mash high-rolled and KO'd the Rayquaza. So we were able to get through my Soul Link partner's fight with just the Aerodactyl going down and the Cabropt going down, which is really cool with not having any distinct form of plan going into AZ. I definitely had some fun with this fight, or just with the whole game in general. Some of my favorite Pokemon to use were, I had both Illumise and Volbeat, so Prankster do shenanigans with Encore, and Swords Dance Baton Pass or Tail Glow Baton Pass was always very fun. Krogunk was surprisingly good in just being able to have the water immunity and dry skin. That came up quite a few times. Pokemon that I'm surprised I didn't use more often was Giratina. With the Lost Hotel trash cans, because we're a Soul Link, Rotom was one encounter, and we could do Giratina on the other encounter, so that was pretty cool. Giratina I got because that was my only ghost type throughout the entire run. And even then, I still didn't use it as much as I had anticipated, which is a little unfortunate. Towards the end, in Route 21, I got a Horde encounter of Dialga and Palkia, and Dialga was pretty darn fun to use through the Victory Road. And there was some thoughts of us bringing the Dialga and Braviary pair into the Elite Four, but our lines were pretty good without them. Other mons that I thought I would use more were Torterra. It was linked with a Dunsparce, and the Dunsparce on the partner side was really good, but my god, was my Torterra bad. It was Calm Nature, so minus attack, and I had 0 attack IVs, so I had literally minimum attack. I also had 0 special attack IVs, so even if I wanted to do some weird Giga Drain Torterra stuff, it wouldn't do much. I had 1 defense and 4 special defense IVs, so very, very bad in terms of my IVs, which made it not be able to come to too many fights, whereas in a previous attempt, my partner's Torterra did lots of work. I was very happy when we got a lot of Horde encounters, or at least I got a lot of Horde encounters just by happenstance. The Darumaka at the start was a Horde. Then I had a Grass Horde for the Turtwig in Route 22. I had the Volbeat Horde in Route 7. Water Starter encounter in Frost Cavern Grass. Then a Fire Starter encounter in Route 18. Then a Fire Starter encounter in Terminus Cave. Then a Grass Starter Horde in Route 19. So I got quite a few of the Horde encounters without actually going for the Hordes. I think in the end I still had 2 or 3 honeys. Oh, at the very end, in Victory Road, we got an Alakazam and Golbat's pair, which was really good because both of them were very fast. They were able to kill some stuff and get through the Crobat with Brave Bird was very, very nice. I also had 2 flying types or 3 I think. I had Dragonites, I had Swanna, and I had Crobat at the end. So having another flying type was actually really, really good for me. And my partner's box just needed speed throughout the entire run, so having an Alakazam at the end was pretty good to finally get some of that speed going. Thank you, Accent, for making the game. I was thinking about doing a 0 death or 1 death reset run. Maybe a run with no setup, but I think at this point I want to work on my own ROM hack and maybe do some Platinum Kaiso or other ROM hacks that are out there. I might come back and revisit this game, but it was definitely a lot of fun, and I had a ton of fun doing a Soul Link of it. I found it very funny that Pichal and Flagon HG started and finished their Soul Link before we finished ours, because we started our Soul Link before they started by a year or a half a year. But that's what happens when you have content creators doing things versus someone who's just wanting to do it as a fun little thing and try to get together with their Soul Link partner and do some fun stuff. Alright. I bid you adieu.